For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise. And you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here, your over-the-hill host on the Scribble podcast. Thanks for listening today. I'm already starting out with a bit of humor and a chuckle because last week I mentioned on the show that I've just turned 41 years old, and that's where everybody cues up those like over-the-hill jokes and, you know, old man and brittle bones and Metamucil and going to bed at, you know, 8 p.m. and waking up at the crack of dawn at 4 a.m. with the birds. Yeah, no, that is not happening in my life. And so I'm going to talk more about aging and how I still have this fun, playful side to me at 41 years old, the energy of a child. And I think that that's maybe the secret to happiness in life. So sit back and relax. And if you're older, crank it up because you won't be able to hear me. 30 minutes of time-wasting fun on the Scribble starts right after this.
This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secret to losing 3 to 5 pounds a week without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt RX. For the last 2 decades, we've helped countless people lose thousands of pounds. And now, it's your turn. Learn how to lose weight with one simple phone call and no prescription needed. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a risk-free money-back guarantee. So, if you're ready to start losing weight, call right now and get a free month supply with your first order of Body Sculpt RX. Call now. You have nothing to lose but the pounds. 800-459-6838. 800-459-6838. 800-459-6838. That's 800-459-6838.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on the Scribble. 41-year-old Jeremy Bradley. Do I have to now start every segment with that? Is that a disclaimer? Is that a proclamation? I don't know. Take it as you will. So last week on the show, I mentioned, I sort of celebrated my own birthday in a way, turning 41, and it's a state of mind. I always thought that was so cliche. You know, when you're growing up, you hear the, like, over the hill, the old fart jokes, whatever it is. And so it always just is kind of like, oh, 30 is scary, 40 is scary, 50 is scary, 60, 70, 80. And then you get to that point where it's like, no, 80 is celebrated now. 70 is celebrated. Unless you're Bonnie Winters, right? Our producer, we've talked about that, where I've asked her, I'm like, what age will you finally say, I'm proud to be whatever? Because right now she still kind of hides it. It's like, well, first of all, you're my employee, so I do know, I have your file, I know when your birthday is, but she still plays coy. Anyhow, so this whole age thing, I mean, it doesn't bother me, and it's not just me saying I don't look my age, which it's I guess flattering when people say, oh, you don't look 40. Oh, I would have said 30. Like, I get it. I don't know if people are meaning it as a compliment, but that's how you take it, because that's what they're saying. And so I kind of am like, whatever. I flip it around and go, hey, I retired at 39 years old. So for me, it's a little bit, I do this podcast not for the money. I still write a newspaper column every week. 20 years I've been in the same newspaper. I'm not doing that for the money. I'm just, because it's something to do. You know, I signed off our radio show, after 15 years, a couple years ago now, but I've just been laying low and doing sweet crap all most days. I have an amazingly hot husband, right? I've talked about him, Brazilian fitness model. We wake up at, like 10 o'clock most days. I do a bath for about 2 hours. He goes to the gym. We reconnect at lunchtime. We will go and, walk the dogs or take them somewhere in the afternoon. We'll have a nap in the afternoon. Like, my life is far from stressful. So people can go and say, oh, you're over the hill 41. Okay, but I'm retired. How about you, Mr. 46-year-old? Oh, didn't think so, right? Like, I mean, I don't play that game, but I'm just saying, like, that's, so, people can go, it's, whatever. And so one thing that I've realized, now this is totally an age thing, is that so I just said about walking the dogs, right? So I will sometimes do it if husband is working or, doing whatever, I'll walk the dogs by myself, or if he's just, busy or doesn't want to. And so, like many people, I listen to music or podcasts or, some kind of audio programming while I'm walking. And what I've discovered on YouTube recently, and I'm not saying that I just found out about this. I'm just saying is people will have an entire album. So let's say the entire Savage Garden album, or the entire Matchbox 20 album, or the entire Backstreet Boys album from back in the day, and they'll do it as like a full 1 hour and something. It's a video technically because it's on YouTube, right? But it's really just the audio. And I've discovered that you can rip the audio or whatever from YouTube and just save it. Maybe that's not right. I don't know. And so I've been listening to, there's one of the 90s which has Spice Girls, Aqua, NSYNC, Venga Boys. So there's it's like an hour it's not a medley because it's each individual song, but it's a compilation album, I guess you call it. There we are. And it's fun because it just takes me back. I've listened to that one with Aqua, Venga Boys, Spice Girls, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. I don't know how many times I've listened to it. There was one day when I did, I went to the grocery store, did the shopping, came back, and then came home and then took the dogs away. So I probably listened to it maybe 2 or 3 times on a loop that day. And it just takes you back to somewhere fun, right? For me, it takes me back to high school graduation. I graduated 2000, NSYNC. The big song for, I guess, Britney Spears, she's on the compilation too. The big song for her that year was Oops, I Did It Again. And so that song, or she's got, sorry, yeah, it was, no, I'm not getting this right now. Oh, yes, it was. Thank you. Oops, I Did It Again was the graduation song. Hit Me Baby One More Time was her first. Baby One More Time is on the compilation. Thank you. They're fact-checking me in real time. You can't hear it. I can hear it. And, right. So it just takes you back to a fun time. It does. So the one that I discovered the other day, which I've now been listening to officially all week. So I found it on Sunday evening. Yeah, Sunday evening. And I was very excited. It almost made me want to go and walk at midnight that night. Was the Whitney Houston Greatest Hits album. And so, it's got I Have Nothing, and I Will Always Love You, I Want to Dance with Somebody, I Believe the Children Are Our Future. So just all of the songs. And I didn't, I saw the track listing before I downloaded it and listened to it, obviously. But I mean, it's Whitney Houston's Greatest Hits. You kind of have an idea what's going to be on it, right? So I didn't fully look at it when I downloaded it. And then I was kind of like, okay. And just when you're kind of like, oh, that was the best Whitney song. Boom, the next one is just as good. Then there were a couple of them that I had never heard. And I was kind of digging it. I was like, all right, cool. And the fun thing that I was starting to pick out, maybe just because I've been in the radio business for as long as I have, was that you can actually kind of figure out what the next line would be just from the rhyming. And it's like, okay, I know where she's going with this next, or I know where the songwriter was going with the next line. But again, we're Friday now. I've listened to it probably, I think it's about an hour. I've listened to it probably, I would say 10 times. That's not, because again, we go for very long walks I've taken the dogs for some quite long walks this week. But what I'm saying, my point in telling the story is that you can make fun of me, say 40, 41, but you know what? That was just good music. It was just a good time. And there's nothing wrong with feeling like I want to be back in that time. A couple weeks ago, I'm not sure if I don't know that I told this story on the show. My husband and I, my mom will always find stuff, and I haven't lived with my parents for over almost 16 years now. But she's always finding stuff that my brothers and I left behind there after we moved out. And so my thing is I haven't needed it in this long. I didn't even remember it existed. I just tell her I don't want it. Then she kind of gives this guilt trip of oh, but this is from whatever. Fine, I'll take it. And it's just thrown in a closet or in a box or in the basement or somewhere in my house. So the other weekend, I said to my husband, I'm like, oh my God, I had a camcorder. This is why my graduation comes to mind. I had a camcorder at my graduation, and it was just fun at that time. And think about all those pictures that you take nowadays, right? Whether it's your kid's birthday, whether it's Christmas, whatever. And I said to my cousin, I'm like, my brother set up like a tripod in the corner of my parents' living room one year for Christmas and basically like recorded. So you got this one just kind of steady shot, this stable shot just in the corner. Have they watched that like ever? Like, what's the point of that? It's fun to like take the picture of your kid, then everybody posts it because everybody exploits their kids on social media. So here's like my kid opening the present. Okay, fine. And then maybe in 2 years it'll show you the memory on Facebook, and there you go, you got it. But do you same thing like with a wedding video. I mean, you might watch that like after, but it's like I just lived that. You know, why do I need to see it? So you watch it maybe on your 5th anniversary or your 10th anniversary or whatever it is. So my graduation, I was kind of like, well, why would I watch it? Like, what's the point? And so, because if you have a husband from another country like I do, I thought this is going to be fun. You can see me as a kid. So this isn't just looking at still photos. This is watching moving pictures and seeing me, you know, as a kid before I had my radio voice, as people call it. And so what we did for that weekend was it was a retro weekend where we had no new technology. Now, you're going to go and say, well, you've got a television. Yeah, my TV, by the way, is 15 years old in my house. I have not bought a new TV. So we didn't use anything new. We had no cell phones. I do have, by the way, I have a 10-year-old BlackBerry that is sort of my main phone for email and phone and text. So that also got a pass. Our TV got a pass. But there was no tech, like we were going back in time. We were doing a 10-year, flashback, like I said. And I loved it because it was so much fun to be, my favorite food as a kid was French fries. I loved candy. So we ended up getting all the McCain Deep and Delicious cake. I don't know if you know what that is, but that was always what I had for my birthday growing up as a kid. So we got one of those, and it was also fun because not only is it a walk down memory lane for me, it's your partner kind of experiencing, first of all, what our culture in Canada was like back in the year, 2000, because I had the camcorder plugged into the TV. So we had a whole bunch of other tapes. Like when I went to the Dixie Chicks concert I smuggled in, this was before metal detectors and all this crap. I smuggled in this massive video camera and basically recorded the Dixie Chicks concert from our seats. So to watch that, we made some funny videos out at the lake, my friends and I, when we were growing up as teenagers. So it was it's fun for me, obviously, but it's also kind of like, it shows that I've always just been this lighthearted, fun, silly kind of a person. So when I was, I mentioned talking with my cousin, I was talking with her the other day, and I just said, my brothers who are in their 40s are married. They've got kids. Their kids are teenagers now. Obviously, parents with teenagers are going through like crazy stuff, right? You're worried about your kid getting involved in stuff. You're worried about your kid being addicted to their phone. You're worried about bullying. You're worried about gun violence. You're worried about, as an endless stream of things that you're worried about as a parent. And I said, I love the fact that I have the energy that I can just do whatever I want when I want, not have any shame about it. Now, again, like I said, fitness model husband, so we don't have like tons of junk food in the house. We don't, it's not like that at all. God, that's sinful. Could you imagine? But we have no problem on like a Sunday night. We ordered, I guess it was a Friday night. We ordered fondue. Yes, we could have bought the strawberries ourselves, but I was like, you know what? It's like 11 o'clock at night. There's a dessert place that was open. We ordered fucking like $30 of like chocolate and strawberry and pretzels and dip and caramel and ice cream and whatever. And we just pigged out because you know what? We can. Why not? And then there was another night where we had ordered, I'm not going to name the restaurant, but it's a fast food place, but it's actually like really good food. We ordered, because it was in Canada, poutine. We ordered chicken burgers. We ordered 3 milkshakes between us. We ended up putting them in the freezer. We didn't have them all. And we just, that feeling after you have like a big Christmas dinner, or maybe you go to a buffet and you overdo it and you're overdoing it. You go to an all-inclusive resort, right? That first day you eat because you can, because it's all you can eat. That was sort of how we felt, where it was like, we're just in this mood to like order food and whatever. And again, it was like 11 o'clock at night. And we just felt like garbage after. But you know what? There was just something. Why not? The other day as well, because our basement, we have a very big house, and it's 2 of us and 2 dogs. We have a basically we have we have a lounge. We have like a nightclub kind of a thing in our basement where there's the surround sound speakers in every corner. There's club lighting. We have actual lighting. There's a fog machine, smoke machine. There's strobe lights. There's actual club lighting. Like I'm not talking like the little thing that you get from Spencer's. I'm talking I bought like $1,000 fucking light hanging from the ceiling, and because we're too old, we just feel like I have no interest in going to a bar with all these like teeny boppers who have their tits out. The guys are these gangster thug wannabes, and I just look at them and go, I'm too old for that shit. Like I've got that's not my scene. So we made kind of like a bar. We made like a club in our basement because hear me out before you judge this, by the way, because we can go downstairs whenever we want. The liquor is not watered down. We're not paying $10 for a drink. We're not worrying about who's going to be the designated driver to get home. We're not worried about getting hit in a bar fight. We're not worried about anything. We can go down there. We can pick the music playlist, by the way. And so we will go down there sometimes at just midnight. We will go down there at midnight and fire up the lights and crank the music, and the dogs will be wrestling or playing with toys or whatever it is, or with treat. And we will dance until 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. So, and sometimes we'll do silly videos and I'll send them to people or whatever. And then my cousin the next morning is like, 3:42 in the morning, you were partying, whatever, like on a Wednesday. And she was just laughing. And I said, you know what? Why not? Why the fuck not? I'm 41 years old. My husband is going to be 40 in a little while. And the fact that we can just feel like we want to do that, we can just dance the night away and be silly and goofy. We're not hurting anybody. Nobody would have even known what's happening. We're not keeping up the neighbors because of the loud music and whatever. Just why not? Because by comparison, I look at my parents who are both retired, who are just sort of very miserable people. Just, like, if you want to have your parents over for dinner and you go and say, how about, 6:30? Because generally people like in their 30s, 40s eat a little bit later. We were very regimented. When we lived at home with our parents, my mom, she worked at a school. She was a teacher for, 30 years. She got out of school at 3:30. She would start making supper as soon as she got home, and we would be eating at like 5 o'clock. It was almost like clockwork. 5:15, maybe 5:30 at the latest, if it was like really late and. And so, if we have a family birthday, or we have, whatever, if it's my birthday, because it was, I'll say, well, let's do dinner like 6:37, 7:30, whatever. Oh, that's too late. Says who? Really? And so my parents are very no kind of a thing. And I don't like that. I just feel like, why go through life with rules like that? It's one night. If you need to have a little bit of a snack, have some nibblies at home, have some crackers, have some, cheese, have some whatever, have a little bit of a snacky kind of a thing before we go to dinner then. Tide yourself over for a little bit. You're not going to, you bump back your dinner by an hour and a half. That is not the end of the world. It's not. It's not the end of the world. So it's little things like that kind of rub me the wrong way when people just are like, oh no, that's too late. Says who? Says who? So then don't come to dinner. Don't come to dinner. I'm not eating at 5 o'clock because we start our day late at our house and we didn't have lunch until 2:30, 4 o'clock. 2:30, 3 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock is not uncommon for us to have lunch. So it's my birthday. We're celebrating me. And you're going to tell me what time I'm going to... Well, no, because I've got work to do, or I've got something, or I'm doing whatever. And eating at 6:30. Like, tell me if you would have a freak out if somebody said, hey, let's do dinner at 7:30 tonight. Is that common? Is it uncommon? Am I just crazy? My neighbors across the street, when I lived at home, my mom would comment that they eat so late. They eat at like 6 o'clock. Well, that's what they want to do, though. Like, I mean, I don't understand how, like, why do you have a problem with it? Why is it bothering you? What is the issue? I don't know why. Get a life. You shouldn't have an issue. It's not affecting you. It's not. So that's what I'm saying. So at 41 years old, for me to be able to just go and say, you know what, screw it. Hey, honey, do you want to go downstairs and dance? We'll go and we'll dance. We might have a drink or two. We might not even do anything. There was one night we ordered pizza at like 2:00 in the morning. We're down there. He went upstairs. He grabbed his phone. He, whatever. I didn't even know what he ordered from where. I was like, whatever. All right, go. And all of a sudden, you get the blinking light or whatever. Your food's coming. It's there, whatever. We go up to the front door. It's on the front stairs outside our house. Pull it in, take it downstairs, and we dance. Now, the funny thing was, because I was wearing a bathrobe, that's how late at night it was. My bathrobe the next day, when when the lights are on and it's, the sun's out and it's daytime and you can see everything, it was hilarious because I went to my bathrobe in the bathroom and I was like, look at all these fucking pizza stains, the pizza sauce stains all over my robe. I thought, what the hell were we doing? He's like, well, we were dancing, you had it on your fingers, it was just because, again, why not? Why not? Don't be such an uptight, Now I go and I give the example of my brothers who have kids or, they're miserable and it's whatever. I'm the only one, I think, in our family, right? Am I the only one of my generation anyway? Some of my cousins, and nephews or whatever aren't old enough to have kids, or they're old enough to have kids. They shouldn't though. But I'm the only one from my generation that doesn't have kids. And I was like, am I the happiest one? Is that actually kind of the secret? Is that sort of the secret to my happiness? No children. And the hot husband helps, but so that's where. And we're going on 18 minutes for this segment now, but I mean that's where this whole over the hill. You're 41, yeah, but you know what? The heart of a child. There was an interview that was who was it? Shit, it was Julia Louis-Dreyfus interviewing Carol Burnett. That's what it was. 90 years old. Carol's 90, and she asked how old do you feel? And I think she said 11 years old. And obviously Carol's a comedian, right? She sees the laughter in the world and in life. And so that's where I was kind of like, yeah, I think that's the secret. If you're going to be this curmudgeon, this old no person who's miserable about everything and can't have dinner at 6:30 because that's too late, then you're going to die young. I'm not saying die young, Dad, but I mean, that's kind of what it is. Now, I mean, historically, we've heard, now, this is not just like what you read on the internet, right? Because you always hear about, red wine extends your life. Happiness extends your life. It's this. It's that. But I mean, we have heard that, though, right? People who just wallow in their own misery and these pity parties end up developing health problems. I'm not saying anything specific, whether it's depression or whatever. I'm just saying we've heard about those studies. So... And I guess at the end of the day, you just look at it and go, why would I want to be pissed off all day? Why would I want... My parents are both retired. Like I said, I'm retired too. My husband works... He makes a lot of money modeling, and I arrange that, and, he does that because he enjoys it. I do this show. I still write because I enjoy it. Why not? But, why would you want to just be in your house miserable, complaining about everything, bitching about everything, complaining about what time the neighbors eat when it's none of your fucking business? Why go through life like that? Why? And so that's what I'm saying is that let's order pizza at midnight. Let's go and just, dance around until 4 a.m. Let's just go and do this. And if we sleep in until noon, we sleep in until noon. Whatever. Because just why put such rules on your life? I understand if you're a parent and you have rules for your kids and crap like that, fine. You're a grown-ass adult. I'll do what I want. Thank you very much. So tell me your thoughts 20 minutes into this segment, live at jbonair.com. My whole point is I am not over the hill. And if I am, I'm dealing with it. And I'm living my life to the fullest with energy, with a great sex life. I'm not going to go there. Live at jbonair.com. Back in a moment right after this.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer. Save the money, save the hassles, and get the better blue pill. Dial 800-578-0179. That's 800-578-0179. 800-578-0179.
This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt, your shoulder hurts, and your back. Oh my God, your back. They're constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore, am I right? Well, here is something you haven't tried. Pain Absolve. Pain Absolve is not available in any drugstore. The only way to get it is by calling today. We're so confident that it will work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase, no prescription needed, and best of all, each purchase comes with a money-back guarantee. Call now to find out how you can get Pain Absolve and get rid of your pain. Call 800-319-0582. That's 800-319-0582. 800-319-0582. Call today. 800-319-0582.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
Oh, I'm back. There we go. Just had a big chug of water because that was... Try going 20 minutes talking nonstop and not moistening your mouth. What is that called when you do the sound effect? Not sound effects. ASMR? Moistening my mouth. And then I should start crackling something. My chair is cracked. There we go. So just going back to my sort of victory lap of youth, if we want to call it that, turning 41 years old. The other week I was completely other end of the city. I was far away from home, and I was doing some running around. It was just such a nice day out, though, and it was an area of the city where I'm sort of familiar with it. I don't really go there because I've had no reason to venture out to that area. And so I had a couple things to do, and I went, did the running around, and then it was just so nice out. The weather was beautiful, and the neighborhood was really nice. These were some very, big houses, nice properties, and I kind of thought, I'm just going to walk around. Like, I got nothing else to do this afternoon. I've got time, whatever. So I started walking around, and then one of my friends she's my sister-in-law's sister, so she's, I guess, not technically my family, but whatever, she's close to her. She's a family member. I talked with her. We'll have, the other day, by the way, we had a 5-hour phone call. Her husband was traveling for work. Mine was as well. And I went and walked the dogs. I did a whole bunch of things. So a 5-hour phone call, not uncommon for us to do multi-hour conversations. So I'm talking to her. I was kind of like, oh, whatever, just strolling around the neighborhoods. And I don't know that I told her exactly where in the city I was, but I was actually kind of quite far from her house. And as I'm talking to her, I just described, I was like, oh, no, there's this store here. I've never heard of this. And she's like, oh, yeah, we've got one in my area, too. I had no idea. Turns out, as I'm walking and talking, now because I just kept going, I didn't even know. I wasn't going in a circle. I was just going. She's like, where are you? Because it sounds like you're describing. And I said, some landmarks or wherever I was. And she's like, you're seriously 15 minutes from our house. I didn't know where they lived. I had no idea. I didn't know that. And I was just laughing. I said, oh my God, could you imagine if all of a sudden we're talking and you look out your window and you're like, you just walked by my house. Like I said, that would be that's only something that would happen to us. We live in a big city. So what are the odds, right? So I'm talking, and I started joking. I was like, oh God, no, I'm not coming over. She's like, yeah, whatever. Why not come over? I said, no, I don't even know where, because I got to get back home still. I don't even know, I've got to, remember, I'm going in one direction. I've got to now go back to get, where I was coming from. So wouldn't you know it, through the course of conversation, I was like, oh, well, I'm just turning at this street. I said, oh, there's crazy construction. She's like, you're seriously at the end of my street. You're seriously at the end of my street. And I just laughed. I said, you know what? Fine, I'll come over. And not only did our, hour and a half, 2-hour phone call continue, I think I spent probably about another 3 or 4 hours there. And then she was laughing at me going, you've got to get back home. So you've got to go back to where you were, and then you've got to go back home. And I said, yeah, but you know what? Whatever. I'll get home when I get home. And that to me, so I do have to wrap this up, we are out of time, but that to me is kind of like, just go through life being carefree. I had nothing to do with that. I don't know where the afternoon is going to take me. I don't know what's going to happen this evening, but you know what? If it ended up being a social gathering that I was at, great. And we had some laughs. We did some great fun selfies. Her daughters were like, you guys are nuts. But whatever, we had a good time. We're both in our 40s, though. We'll be right back.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
If you are in your 40s, I want to hear from you. Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. How do you stay young and fun? live@jbonair.com. And if you're younger, if you're one of those 20-somes or the millennials or the anyways people, I want to hear from you as well. There we go. I'm mocking the younger generation. That's how you know you're embracing your age. When I can look at those whippersnappers and how they talk and their pants hanging down. Jeremy Bradley on The Scribble. Talk to you next week, everybody. Bye-bye for now.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some